there. There we go. Now I'm unmuted. Hey, hey. Hope everybody's good. I forgot to adjust my camera before I set up here, so I have to take some dizziness. So hey, welcome everybody. This is Astronomy Daily Live. You can call me Cosmic, and in fact, you can call pretty much anything cosmic. But in particular, here he is. Here he is. So hope everybody's doing good. I can I can say that I'm a little wiped out today. So yeah, maybe this will be a little slower a slower live stream than normal. So yeah, hope everybody's doing good. Um, I for I did not remember to to make a new batch of hydrogen hydroxide. So I might very likely will have to do that at some point. But yeah, let me get through a little bit of the introduction here, and then maybe I'll take a quick run. So hey everybody live, nice to see you here. Glad you're joining in, the circle again. This happens every single day at 2 hours UTC. It is now 2:01 UTC, up 2:02 UTC. So here we go. Here we go. So this is a live stream um, circle of friends chat all about um, uh, the astronomy that we know and love. So yeah, let's talk astronomy for an hourish or so. Sometimes it goes a little bit over, but that's okay because there's always a lot to talk about when it comes to astronomy. And so this is just a casual, yet I hope high quality um, live stream. Um, a very um, open-minded but skeptical show. Uh, Hopefully fun and educational as as well. Buckminster Fuller said once that we could never learn less; we could only learn more, and that's true. I would just add a little addendum to that, and that is, well, we can forget. We can forget. So is forgetting learning less? No, it's not the same thing. I know what he means. So yeah, you can only learn more, and so that's a lot what this show is all about. It's also just about getting away from the TV, getting away from the news, and you know focusing your attention a little bit on a passion and sharing it with many others from around the world, from around the world. So I just think, yeah, that kind of thing happens, and uh, let's see. I'll give you a finger snap. Okay, ready? Like that. But Uncle Bill, I just don't worry about those kinds of things. I have to deal with the technology that I have, and I find it. I guess I'm just getting. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, but uh, I think it's absolutely amazing that this works at all. So I'm just sort of glad about that. Uh, yeah, my needs and desires are pretty simple. So the only thing that I'm sort of aiming for is a nice, slow, gradual upstream in terms of getting better and better and better. So whether that's and I'm not necessarily looking for uh, um, fast improvement, right? I just want steady improvement. Maybe there'll be some, jumps in improvement too, but yeah. So the video is a good 3 seconds late. Yeah, that's uh, that's how it goes. So as I said, I don't really worry about those kinds of things. Um, we're sharing a circle here, and you know, um, oftentimes in conversations with friends, um, 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 others are a bit out of sync. So I'm just being a bit out of sync tonight. So this show is for new folks who are coming into astronomy, don't know anything at all, want to find out stuff, looking for information. Now uh, I can be pretty certain in saying that I don't really have a lot of answers. Um, I do have some knowledge, a little bit of experience, so I can definitely um, provide you, with pieces of information that I have. I can also, maybe direct you um, um, towards a particular thing that you're looking for. So, but yeah, this. So whether you're new, um, or you're an amateur, or an advanced amateur, or a pro, you are welcome here. And um, let's talk astronomy for like an hour or so. So one of the shout outs that I wanted to give today, and something that I want to try to do every Sunday, um, is go check out a show called Music from the Hearts of Space. It's been going on. It's been in syndication mm, for at least 30 years. I want to say since like 1985 or something like that. Before that, they were a local show, I think, in San Francisco, and then they were so good that they got picked up and syndicated around, at least around the country. I don't know if they're played around the world or not, but if you haven't heard of of Music from the Hearts of Space, uh, you are missing out. So I see that Susan's in the room again, and Tom is here. So hey everybody. Hope everybody's doing well out there. I forgot to make myself a fresh batch of hydrogen hydroxide. So it's extremely likely that in the next several minutes, I'm going to take a short break and go fill up with that awesome chemical. So yeah, hope everybody's doing good. So you know, I definitely would like this conversation to be directed by the entire group, not necessarily by me. Um, if there isn't anything in particular that anybody wants to talk about, I've got tons and tons and tons of stuff right here in the back pocket. So there's always something to talk about in terms of astronomy. And the hardest thing for me, right, is to narrow it down to maybe one or two things, because that's, and I'm going to say this every single show, right? One of the really, really cool things about a daily live stream is that there's no pressure to pack in a lot of information or hurry or anything else, because so far in my experience, there has been a tomorrow. So, tomorrow always seems to come around. And so what's missed today or what's missed yesterday, we can pick up tomorrow or the next day or the next week. Yeah, this is just a casual thing. Very, very fun. Um, yeah, and no real pressure. If there's a delay with the video, um, things are out of sync, that's how it goes. As I said, I'm just amazed that this um, works at all, and we humans are now able to connect in this interesting way. However, I would like to point out a book. I'm going to grab it here. Hold on. So, you guys read this one yet? This is one of Asimov's robot series books. And of course, I highly recommend all of his robot series books. Um, Definitely, if you want to get into Asimov's robots, okay, the first book that you should read, I have it here. I don't have it. I don't have it on the shelf in front of me, so oh well. But pick up his collection of short stories called I, Robot, and you'll be blown away. You'll be absolutely blown away. Uh, you know, Asimov is very, very good, and yeah. But anyway, the reason why I bring up this particular book is not necessarily about the story, but about the culture. This takes place on a humanoid planet, probably populated by Earthlings at some point. You know, so they are, as far as I recall, they're full human, but it's a different planet. And on this planet, they uh, their culture is such that they they consider what we're doing now, right, which they call viewing. Okay, so I think they have some kind of three-dimensional projectors. I don't remember exactly the details, but um, uh, they consider this viewing, and this is proper and clean and you know sort of acceptable, right? Now, what isn't acceptable and is considered sort of dirty and vulgar and taboo is seeing each other. Seeing each other is actually being in the physical presence of one another. So that is considered like really just disgusting, right? Just really, really, really gross. Um, so you know it in a certain sense, you know, this kind of thing, you know, that we're doing now, kind of bothers me a little bit because it is so much like viewing, and so yeah, I don't exactly know how I totally feel about that, but anyway, it's a very good book. Um, there are three books sort of in this series. So after you read I Robot, there is the Caves of Steel. There's the Naked Sun, and there's one more. Err, I don't remember the third one, but they're all mysteries. So they are mystery books. They're sci-fi mystery books. So you know, I'm not really into mystery because most of the time, mystery books are, you know, like murder mysteries. And I think all of these, all of these three are murder mysteries, if I remember right. Mm, it's been too long. I need to read these again. Um, Definitely want to read this one because you know, because I see a relationship here, you know, between these two things. So yeah. All right. Look, I am going to take a very very short break and grab this new batch of hydrogen hydroxide. So I'm just going to mute my mic and I will be right back, like less than a minute. Okay, hold on one sec. All right, here we go. Hydrogen hydroxide, fresh batch. Woohoo! Cheers. So hope everybody's doing well. Everything is good here. Looks like we're going to be getting a little bit more weather soon, but hey, bring it on. You know, the most valuable commodity in the desert is water. So come on down. Not too much, not too much, but just enough, just enough. So yeah, glad everybody can be here. As I said, you know, I would like, you know, this conversation to be, you know, sort of led by the entire group. But if there isn't anything in particular, then I've got tons and tons and tons of stuff. We can do Q&A. We can talk about like observing. We can talk about gear or telescopes, eyepieces. Um, we can get into instrumentation. We can talk about cameras or spectrometers or photometers or polarimeters or combinations uh, of those. Um, we can talk about optical astronomy, radio astronomy, infrared, UV. That's one of the cool things, right, about astronomy is that uh, not only does it cover a lot of um, a lot of stuff, but it covers all the wavelengths of light, from the very shortest to the very longest, and it's absolutely awesome. It you know astronomy does you know sort of cover everything, everything. So yeah, very cool. Uh, we can get into that. We can talk about the analysis of data, how to collect data, how to get calibration of data. If you have a particular instrument, and here he comes. Here he comes, Mr. Ears. Mr. Ears. Let's see. He doesn't. He doesn't want to be held up. Hello, bud. What's happening, man? But yeah, we can talk about how to take and apply calibration data to raw data. We can talk. You know, I always like to touch on um, um, the latest papers that are coming out, which I like to find over at archive.org. But yeah, you know, I was talking about the Hearts of Space, music from the Hearts of Space. So every um, this this is a radio show. It's online now too, uh, and they play mostly space music. Now, space music sort of has the sound and sort of the feeling of space. So it's uh, it's it's awesome. It's awesome. They mix in a lot of cultural sounds too, which are usually pretty interesting. Um, I would say probably probably a quarter of the shows are um, about half the shows are really nice, and a quarter of the shows are like mind-blowingly wow. So, but you know they've been doing this for a long time. It's also called like ambient music, although you know this leans more towards you know, the spacey type of stuff you know that you would hear in a planetarium, or sort of you know if you're standing under a dark sky and viewing you know, the Milky Way overhead. Um, it sort of it creates that kind of a feeling, you know, this really big sound. So check them out. Music from the Hearts of Space. It's HOS.com. And every Sunday, their weekly show is free, so you can go there. I think you probably have to register in order to get the free. So there's nothing free. There's nothing free. Um, but I'm not sure about that. So you may not have to register, but I think you do because otherwise they'll just play like a 30-second clip, and 30 seconds is long enough to sort of get you in the mood, right? And then it just stops, and it's like, oh, I've fallen off a cliff. So I think you probably have to register. It's free. Registration is free, but they do get your contact information. So they get some kind of email. Um, so, but it's worth it for the music that they put out. It's usually 10 or 12 artists from around the world, um, and each show sort of has a theme, right? So let me share my screen. We can go over there and take a quick look over there, and then I'll talk about this picture here too a little bit. So let's see. I do have a link to the Discord server. Uh, yeah, okay. Uncle Bill, I'm looking for like a countdown timer. So that was like sort of the first one I found. I don't really think I like it all that much. So yeah, you know, yeah, I'll probably change it tomorrow. I don't know if that's even gonna last. It's just yeah, yeah. I think for a channel to get better, it has to evolve. So evolution can go in one of two ways, right? Either up or down. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But let's look at HOS.com, and I noticed that today's show was a new show. It's show number 1172. So they've created 1,172 unique shows. Um, Oftentimes they will repeat shows. So they've been doing this for over 30 years, and if you do the math, that's you know more than 1,172 shows. So they do repeat things from time to time. So if you go to programs, you can go to this week, and you can sort of see it at the top here too. But oh, it sort of looks like I'm not logged in. But um, this week's show is called The Transcendent Piano. So they give a little description here, sort of an intro of sorts. I'm gonna go get rid of this kitty who is trying to knock things on the ground and succeeding really well, but I don't really want him to. So hold on one sec. The kitties have learned that if they can annoy me, uh, especially if they want out, if they can annoy me, then they'll get me to move. So so cats are smart that way. They sort of create circumstances um, into which you know we humans have absolutely no choice but to do precisely what they want. So they are brilliant. Anyway, so there's a little bit of introduction, and then here is the playlist. So it's just I don't recognize any of these names. Max Richter. Yeah, I recognize him. I like his stuff. But yeah, everybody else on here, I don't recognize. So what I do is I play this and I record it. Uh, so I can listen to it anytime I want. Yeah. So, just like in the old days when I used to, carry around a tape recorder, and when I heard a good song on the radio, I would, just record it, with a bad mic and everything. So, yeah, sort of doing exactly the same thing. It probably violates all kinds of rules and everything else, but I'm not sharing this. I'm not selling it. Nobody listens to it except me, and it eventually just gets buried on the computer and not necessarily forgotten, but yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm just I'm doing that so I'm not sort of forced into having to listen to it on a particular day. So that's all. All right, so I'm gonna unshare. Bling, I'm back, and I'm gonna go over to the chat here. I noticed yesterday's live stream got a thumbs down, which isn't the first one, but look, right now I am looking for a reaction, right? I'm looking for a reaction. So whether that's a positive reaction or a negative one, I don't care. I don't care. The the fact that I am getting a reaction is uh, that means I'm doing well. So uh, awesome. I like it. Now, what was I going to do? I was going to, I was going to pop up the chat over here again because I keep missing it. Just text nothing but rain in my forecast and no sign of it ending. I had to get away from the East Coast. Too much bad weather. Yeah, yeah. Well, being in southeastern Arizona, we definitely live in a very benign environment where there's just not a lot going on at all. The most exciting thing that we have here are the monsoons. Um, and those are welcome. Those are welcome because the rest of the year we're pretty dry. So we usually get some rain around this time. So that is welcome too. All right. Well, any comments or questions in the chat? Any direction maybe you want this conversation to go? Anything at all? Otherwise, I'm just gonna take over the whole show. Yeah, those Mars things are absolutely awesome. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, uh, as I said, I could, and do on occasion spend hours and hours and hours, just looking at Mars, and yeah, it's a fascinating place. It's in a lot of ways it actually looks a lot like where I live. If you sort of get rid of all all the living things, um, and all the houses, all the trees, all the power lines, everything else. Um, Place that I live looks a lot like Mars. Um, yeah, I did see your questions and speculations about dark energy a few days ago. I think think. Let me go over to the Discord. I think you referred to it as let's see, where is it here? Click in the box. Da, 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 da. And I was a little bit confused about what you said about it. Is it there? I don't remember which channel it was in on the Discord. Space, miscellaneous. I know you put it over on Tony's site too. Maybe we can go over there if I can't find it here. I don't remember where that was. Let's see if I can rapidly find it. I'm not seeing anywhere. Where am I looking? We only discover it indirectly. Yeah, and Uncle Bill, I'm extremely skeptical of all this dark stuff. I I understand that that's sort of the going idea that everybody's really excited about, and a red flag for me is how sure everybody is uh, especially it being an inferred thing and not anything that is directly observed. Just because we don't understand something, um, but can model it with some guesses doesn't mean we're right. And so yeah, I'm just not quite sure about any of this dark stuff. I'm and more scientists, including myself, are realizing that astronomy and cosmology has really um, ignored the electrical effects of things, and the fact that gravity may not be what we think it is, but maybe some kind of an emergent property out of out of electromagnetism. So I think I've mentioned this a couple of times, maybe early on, but um, there's a pretty active group. If you go over to thunderbolts.info, that is the electric universe folks, and I continue to take a look at those guys. I think they are definitely onto something, and they more and more scientists and more papers are coming out, uh, sort of kind of reluctantly, um, uh, mentioning that mostly everything that we're seeing, might have some kind of an electrical effect. Uh, so, and I'm starting, to think that as well. I think we're, I think um, that we may not have the picture as sure as we think, and that's definitely going to rock a lot of heads, and it's going to force us to change our perspective. But I think in this case, that change in perspective would be amazingly positive. So something to continue to look at, because um, at least my understanding of the electric universe is that dark matter and dark energy um, just aren't there. Just aren't there. You don't need that stuff to explain the observations. So something to look into. As I said, this live stream and this person is extremely skeptical, but also extremely open-minded. So I like to hear things, and I try as a scientist, I try very, very hard not to judge. Um, that's why I don't have any opinion about the people who claim that we're on a flat Earth, because what I've heard so far is a lot of ridicule and a lot of making fun of that kind of an idea. And for that sort of throws me back to 15th century dark ages, right? When the earth was in the center, and all the planets went around it, and in perfect spheres, harmonic spheres, the whole thing, right? And that was a sure thing. That was a sure thing. So this idea of sun centered was ridiculed, and it sounds the same to me. I'm not saying that flat Earth is correct. What I'm saying is that I'm sort of hearing the same kind of ridicule that that isn't fair. And I think I definitely want to study things like the flat Earth um, theory, which yeah, contrary to you know current thought, is totally wrong, right? But I need to understand where they're coming from, because maybe it's just a matter of perspective. Maybe those folks have a particular perspective, and maybe they're just not understanding what they're thinking or seeing. I don't know. I need to investigate it more. If anybody has, I haven't really started looking around, but I would like to find sort of a source, like a source paper or a source online article or something from somebody who is sort of the spearhead of this thing. I want to see what they're thinking, what information they have. I want to understand their perspective, and and uh, um, and until then, I can't have an opinion at all. It just it's another one of those red flags where it's like there's so much ridicule that it's like why be? I mean, if the flat earthers are so wrong, why bother with them at all? So putting a lot. I mean, I hear practically every live stream on astronomy these days. Flat Earth is brought up. It's like if it's so wrong, why keep talking about it? So I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those weird things, and as I said, it's a red flag um, um, for me. Uncle Bill, can you is 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 there anything online about what you were talking about in terms of decreasing energy or a big rip, anything like that? Because yeah, I I I'd like to understand that a little better, and I don't know if you're I well, one my brain is really tired, so uh, it usually takes a while for things to sink in anyway. Well, tonight it is definitely going to be really, really slow. So, okay. Let's see. Susan was talking about they found a footprint in a rock that was 290 million years old. They found a footprint, like a human footprint. I assume that's what you mean, is a human footprint that was 290 million years old. Well, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to know how what techniques they use to date that. um, because that sort of ruins our current theory, huh? But that's another thing. I don't think that we have a clear idea of of history either. Um, I think our memories are pretty short, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's hmm, hard to know for sure. It's a fact. The history is skewed, right? History is usually written by the winners. So that's an extreme minority. So what else is going on and what else happened? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, decreasing dark energy is a brainstorm all my own. Um, okay, well, I definitely would like to hear a little bit more about this. Um, so you're thinking that the the so-called dark energy is decreasing over time? Is am I reading that right? Um, Speculation that it might increase over time led led to a big rip idea. Okay. First glance, it has as much validity. Uh, okay, so I need to find out about the big rip because I don't think I've ever heard of the big rip. So let me note that. Um, let me do a. Oh, I can just do a Google search and see if there's anything interesting. But let me look into that a little bit. Um, if you have any interesting links or anything, you can throw it in Discord for sure. Big rip. I can just go big rip. Big rip. Uh, Theory. Big rip theory. Big rip. Okay. Well, let me share the screen here and let's look at big rip. This will be a first for me as well. So let's look at this together and see what we can see. Go over here, and we're gonna go. Oh, our favorite searcher, Big Rip Theory. Big Rip Theory. There's a Wikipedia entry for it, so uh, let's just sort of assume that this is going to be correct. So in physical cosmology, the Big Rip is a hypothetical cosmological model concerning the ultimate fate of the universe, in which the matter in the universe, from stars and galaxies to atoms and subatomic particles, and even space-time itself, is progressively torn apart by the expansion of the universe at a certain time in the future. So according to the hypothesis first published in 2003, the scale factor of the universe, and with it all distances in the universe, will become infinite at a finite time in the future. Possibility of sudden singularities and crunch or rip singularities at late times occur only for hypothetical matter, which with implausible physical properties. Okay, so the universe will become infinite in size, in a finite amount of time. And yeah, that would definitely, I would think, at least mathematically, that would sort of tear apart, tear things apart. So, oh man, all right. I don't know. Gonna have to think about this one a little bit. Um, okay, well that's interesting. The Big Rip was discussed a few times in various astronomy casts and weekly space hangouts. I'll have to go back and see if I can find any of those. Because Pamela Gay, she's almost always in the know about things, even if she has to go to Wikipedia first too. But yeah, she's able to put things together really well. Um, so let's see. I'm visualizing a dark energy value that is an inverse function at time, approaching infinity at t equals 0, and falling rapidly before the universe cools to transparency. So okay, so in okay, Well, I'll have to think about this a little bit, Uncle Bill, and but I will definitely let's touch on this a little bit. Um, if you've got anything written up or anything at all, maybe you can post that uh, onto Discord somehow. I don't know if you can. Can you like upload files, like PDF files or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know. That inverse function I'm speculating would have leveled off to to a small, nearly constant value in the current universe. Yeah, I mean, we've we've only, we humans have only been looking at the universe for a pretty short amount of time. So yeah, I mean, everything is going to look flat. Even if you compare it, to the so-called age of the universe. A couple of 100 years, uh, everything's going to look flat. Okay, cool. All right. So it's a brain. I I can do math. I can do math. So try writing this up a little bit. Some kind of a description, um, and you know maybe provide some examples, that kind of stuff, um, and maybe some math can help with that. All right, I'm gonna go back to this. I guess I better not slouch anymore. Cool. Well, it's an interesting thought. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good. We're pretty far into it. Hope everybody is enjoying. Yeah, Tom said that he thinks that most flat earthers are just trolling um, to get a response. Yeah, I don't know. I think um, something like that, is is uh, is open to misinterpretation, and we know from recent events that it's extremely easy, to misinterpret. Um, uh, when Elon Musk talked about, sending his Tesla to a Mars orbit, okay, that was interpreted as sending his Tesla to orbit Mars. And those are two completely different things. But, you know, misinterpreted. So a lot of folks, who don't understand what Mars orbit is, or Mars's orbit, um, thought, hey, it's going in orbit around Mars. It's like, no, not at all. So, you know, the people who are sort of spearheading the flat Earth thing, those are the people that I want to hear from. Not necessarily those who are, you know, um, uh, spreading it around, or, as you say, maybe using it as a trolling mechanism, to get a response. So yeah, don't know. It's a thing that I don't know anything about at all. But I'm open to it and extremely skeptical, extremely skeptical. All right, well, cool. I think, let me get one more of these piece. Nice. The whole early expansion phase seems like magical hand waving. Well, the origin of the universe is sort of a magical hand waving thing. Um, I think it was Terence McKenna who gave sort of the best line about that, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'm a little bit, but it's like the cosmologist said, "Look, you give us one miracle, and we'll take care of the rest." so, so yeah, even the origin of the universe, so-called origin of the universe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Who knows? Brainstorming is where it starts. Coming up with an idea in your head. That's part of the scientific process, right? You've um, made some observations, and you've seen some patterns, and you've you've sort of put those um, in your head and thought about it and have come up with an interesting idea that now needs to be tested, and you need to be able to uh, try to observe these kind of phenomena. So from your theory, you would have to say, okay, if this is right, then we should be able to go out and observe something, right? Um, and that um, something would be related to your theory that would confirm it if you're seeing it, right? Um, so then yeah, just confirm and confirm and confirm. Get others to confirm. The scientific process. That's what it's all about. So yeah, and actually not being married to ideas, I think that's very, very important. To not really identify yourself with the idea itself. Let the idea, you know, be completely on its own. And so if it's right or wrong, you're sort of indifferent, right? It's just if if you can move things into a direction of better understanding or greater knowledge, that's absolutely awesome. That's very, very awesome. So yeah, very, very cool. All right, well, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'll show you the picture that I started with. So this picture is in a series of images that I took with my smartphone last spring. I was working on a project um, for a couple of folks, looking at how the color of the sky changes through twilight. So they were interested in looking at how it changed from civil twilight through um, nautical twilight. So just as a background, um, sunset occurs, okay, at a certain time. At that point, we go into civil twilight. So, there's no direct sunlight, but of course, the atmosphere is still being lit up. by the sun, so it's still relatively bright. Now, when the sun um, drops, I think it's to. We can look that up, I guess, because I never remember these things. It's horrible, but that's why we have this wonderful technology, wonderful twilight, GHT, twilight. I'm spelling that completely wrong, but it'll find it anyway. So we're gonna get some. Let's twilight. ILIGHT. Let's just go civil. Different types of twilight, dawn, and dusk. Okay, here we go. So right, there's civil twilight, nautical twilight, and astronomical twilight. So yeah, so civil dawn is the so that civil twilight occurs when the sun is less than 6 degrees below the horizon. So from sunset or sunrise, yeah, let's just do um, um, uh, sunset. Okay, so from sunset to when the sun is 6 degrees below the horizon, that is civil twilight, and that takes about half an hour or so. So after civil twilight is nautical twilight. And nautical twilight is when the sun is between 6 degrees and 12 degrees below the horizon. And that also lasts about half an hour or so. It sort of depends um, on your latitude a little bit. And then after nautical twilight comes astronomical twilight. And that's when the sun is between 12 degrees and 18 degrees below the horizon. So once the sun is below 18 degrees, um, we are in what we can call darkness. So up until then, and it takes hour and a half or so, um, uh, you're not in complete as dark as it can be. So what these guys were interested in looking at was the color of the sky, sort of near the point of sunset. So sort of way down here, right? Point of sunset, was probably around here somewhere. So they wanted to look around here, and so took a series of images over the course of an hour. So they wanted to go from the beginning of civil um, twilight, which is right after sunset, um, through nautical. So ran for about an hour, took an image about every minute or so. Early stages through civil, I had to be constantly changing the exposure time, because I didn't want to be overexposed, but I also wanted a good signal. So yeah, these are just taken with smartphone, and I think these are. I don't know how long of an exposure these are, but let me see if I can. Am I going to be able to? I don't actually know if I have any more of them on here. These are just pictures of mountains. Oh, here's the International Space Station. I'll zoom through that. I don't know if I have any more of these twilight shots. I thought I did. I thought I had a series of them. Shows how much I know. What else do I have on here? I don't know. Oh, just a bunch of artwork and stuff. I'll have to pull all those up eventually. I thought I had them on here, but the idea was to um, um, photograph, the twilight sky and measure the colors. And the cool thing about a smartphone, right, is that, whoop, why did that not, trying to come back. There I am. Okay. So the cool thing about, these smartphone cameras is that they are color cameras. They have they have um, in in every 2 by 2 pixel grid, they have one red pixel, 2 green pixels, and a blue pixel. And from that, you can extract the color. And so if you get like a JPEG image of these things, those that sort of raw data is processed and turned into a JPEG. But you can also save these as raw images. I think they're saved as like DNG files, if I remember right, something like that. Um, and as I said, um, out of out of 4 pixels, like a 2 by 2 grid, you'll have a red pixel, you'll have 2 greens, and you'll have a blue, like that. So I could take that color information and I could look at the colors of the pixels uh, as we went through civil twilight and nautical twilight. And I was able to measure the color of the sky over time. And what they were interested in is just seeing, how that color changed. So I could watch the red and the green and the blue. So I couldn't look at, specific wavelengths or anything like that. Um, uh, but I was able to get, like a frequency or wavelength um, profile in terms of these CMOS cameras um, um, are set up to be sensitive to red and green and blue, um, and you can look at yeah. Let me get into that a little bit later because that's going to require some explanation that a more awake head will better be able to deliver for sure. Suffice it to say, that these cameras can look uh, at the reds and the greens and the blues separately, and you can then compare them to see how they change over time. And yeah, they found that they had some expectations that weren't met, so we sort of did a proof of concept where I took the raw data, took all the calibration data, took the biases and the darks and the flats, and processed them through to get some scientifically valid data. And in the end, it sort of wasn't, I guess, what they were looking for. So after the proof of concept, they were like, well, that's not what we were after. So thanks for the help, but we'll see you later. So that project ended at that point. But I definitely want to get on it sort of for my own benefit as well, because there were some interesting. I saw some interesting things in that data. So I need to probably get a hold of them to see if it's okay if I sort of continue uh, at that point. Um, because I definitely would like to use the data that I've already um, collected, to do some further research in that area. Just looking at the color of the sky, it's as simple as that, but there's some just incredibly interesting things that can be done with that kind of information. So don't know exactly what yet. Don't know where that's leading. Um, you know, I I guess I tend, to follow my curiosity around, and I don't really worry too much about where it's leading me. Um, I think that's good science. I think it is. Just sort of um, following my nose around and seeing where it goes. So I encourage that. I definitely encourage that. Well, I think what I'm going to do is exit this live stream for tonight. As I said, I'm just zonkered tonight, just absolutely zonkered. Just yeah, who knows? Just way too much excitement. So who knows? I I don't have an explanation for it. Um, but yeah, glad you all could come by again. Glad you're here. For those of you in the future who are watching this, thanks for coming by. Um, hey, we'll be doing this again in, well, a little less than 23 hours from now. I don't see this kind of live stream ending anytime soon. On the contrary, I see it growing. I see it growing and getting pretty popular. So, and yeah, I would definitely like a crowd around to have an interesting conversation. So, yeah, but let's keep it pretty casual and fun, because that's sort of my attitude about things. And so yeah, good conversation tonight. I'm Uncle Bill. I need to look into the Big Rip. Yeah, because that's something that I don't think I've ever heard of before. So yeah, I'll look into that a little bit more. And as I said, if you have any kind of, like a write up or an explanation or anything that you could toss me, that would be extremely interesting too, because I think I'm starting to follow what you're saying, but you know, this is really, really dense. So it takes a while. Once I get it, I get it. But yeah, sometimes it takes a jackhammer to, you know, pry it open and shove the info in. All right. I think I'm going to get out of here for now and have one more of these. Cheers. All right. I got to get back up. I will see you tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great day and a great evening. And yeah, let's talk astronomy again tomorrow. Astronomy Daily Live every single day, 2 hours UTC. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. You can hit the notifications on there, and you'll know exactly when I go live again next. Or you can figure it out for yourself. It's 2 hours UTC every single day. Um, if you like, hit the thumbs up or the like button. Is that what it's called? Um, that I think helps a lot in spreading the info around a little bit about this show. Um, Most definitely share, with friends. Um, I'm pretty much anybody else who you think might be interested in this kind of content. Um, Try not to keep it too boring or anything. I hope it isn't. I hope it's moderately uh, fun and informative, and just to get together uh, and talk astronomy for an hour or so. I think that's a lot of fun, and yeah, I mean I do it anyway, so it's extremely easy for me to do this. Uh, yeah, it takes absolutely no effort at all, absolutely none. Uh, cool. Thanks, Uncle Bill. I will get that from you. And let's see. I'm going to get out of here. All right. Peace and out.